Fam, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a Roll Tide? The Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team. They are elite. They defeated BYU in the Sweet 16 matchup last night in New Jersey, 113-88. That was honestly the best performance that I've seen, period. Like, we've all watched college basketball. Let me ask you inside the comment box, let you guys get checked in. Was that the best performance? And I know I asked this yesterday, but I'm still feeling it on Friday morning. Was that the best performance that you've seen this team have, maybe ever, in your whole experience watching Alabama basketball? It was extraordinary. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about some Alabama scrimmage notes on the back end of the show. I appreciate you guys being here. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through Nate Oats' press conference. Because of copyright restrictions, you're going to get the audio, but I'm going to still pipe it in. I'm going to talk about his sound bites. But let me start real quick by going to the box score, okay, of this game. I'll go full screen on this. This was really extraordinary. What I did was I circled a couple different things. Let's start up here with Youngblood, who was 5 of 11. We knew he had to be hot. We knew he had to play at an elite level, right? 5 of 11 from three-point land. Three-point land. He was 6 of 12 from the field. Finishes with 19 points. When we talk about players that need to stay hot, he was certainly one of them. But my goodness, Mark Sears, the performance that he had last night, straight up epic, right? 10 of 16 from three-point land, 34 points. And then how about some bench play down here? Aiden Holloway, 6 of 13, 23 points. Alabama shot 49% from three-point land. 49% from three-point land. That is extraordinary. Here's what Coach Oats had to say in his post-game press conference. Here's his opening comments. This is the audio.
An opening statement?
I mean, that was a fun game. If you like offense, that was fun for the fans, I'm sure, at least for the Alabama fans. And listen, I got to teach these guys some math occasionally. I told Sears there's a thing called regression to the mean. His last 6 games, he was shooting 14%, 5 of 35. He's not a 14% shooter, obviously. They had been going under ball screens on just about every game we watched. I told both those guys, Holloway and seriously, man, I hope they go under us because we're going to rain them. So we were in the gym last night, the night before, but these guys show up for voluntary shooting every time it's available to make sure that they're ready to go and that work pays off. We want to base our program on hard work. So told Mark he's playing chess, not checkers. He just kind of set everybody up with that 5 of 35, thinking he was in a slump and he's going to come out, shoot like 63%, ain't bad. So 10 threes, I think first guy in NCAA tournament history, I was told, that had at least 8 threes and 7 assists. So, not only was he scoring it, he was moving it. Helps to get assists when you got guys like CY and Aiden Holloway making shots like they did too. So between these 3 guys, we had 21 threes. It's, we've hit 22 before a couple times, I think maybe 23. We've never hit 25. So, and BYU with their personnel, we knew that they started going under, but they always collapse. I mean, they kind of have to, and they kind of got away with it against some teams that don't space like we do. But I told these guys going in, if you'll move the ball, we end up with 27 assists. I'm not sure where that ranks in tournament history, but if you'll move the ball, our offense is designed to beat a defense like this. So they're heavy in the gaps, they overhelp, and we did. So now they're a really good offensive team too. Everybody questioned whether we had defense to win. For some reason, nobody was talking about our offense though. Like, I've gotten to know Mike D'Antoni a little bit. He made the point, like, your offense only has to be, one point in the efficiency better than your defense to win the game. Now, we were trying to get stops, and I thought we did a pretty good job. They went on a run. I remember Sears got a steal. When they started to make a run there in the second half, it's a big play. We got a bunch of old boards. Our second chance points, I thought we hit some threes off that. We gave them too many second chance, but we did hit some threes off it. So, it was good. We were able to rest some guy. Our top minute guy was Sears with just over 30, and then, nobody else CY and Grant 27 and 25. So, whoever we play, we were able to get these guys a little bit more rest than normal. So proud of our guys. We're in the Elite Eight for the third time in school history and back-to-back. So Sears has been in the middle of it. These two guys came to play with them, and they're unbelievable backcourt together. I thought LeBaron did a good job, moving the ball tonight too. He went 2 or 3 himself. He ended up with 6 assists. So I thought everybody played well in their roles tonight.
That's Nate Oats. That's the audio from his post-game press conference as Alabama defeated BYU 113-88. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Get inside the comment box. As we look to Alabama, they will now match up with Duke in this Elite 8 matchup in New Jersey. I was looking earlier and kind of, and I have a soundbite of Mark Sears coming up here in just a second as well. But this matchup, I mean, look, this is elite, right? You get to this level. Look at this. Duke is favored on ESPN's metrics, and I think they're a 5-point favorite to, 72% chance to beat Alabama. Now, I don't know. The computer probably didn't see the game last night and what Alabama was able to do from outside. Look, you get everybody's going to be difficult at this point in time. Alabama stays hot like they did. I mean, they're not going to shoot, 51% from three-point land again. But you get over that 40% range from outside, you're going to win and you're going to beat a lot of teams. Now, you see Duke last night beating Arizona by a score of 193. I think the over-under on this game is similar. It's like 175. They beat Baylor before, and, this is a quality team. This is a hell of a matchup, and can't wait to see it. So Alabama will play on Saturday. It will be at 7:49, so it's a later tip, high-profile game, and this is what we wanted. Nate Oats has brought back Alabama basketball. He's taken it to a whole nother level. Give him a lifetime contract. Give him whatever you need to do to be able to stay here, because don't take him for granted. There's no one else. Even if you don't agree with some of the things that he does during the season, I think there's a stat that 75% of the teams that they played this year were in the NCAA tournament, 28-8 against that type of a schedule. Think about what I just said. So there's no one else. There's no one else that is going to come in here. He is the best coach that Alabama has, period, okay, in all sports, the entire school. I think he's, the most powerful man now in Tuscaloosa after Nick Saban has retired and moved on, right? Got a soundbite from Mark Sears following his incredible performance. This was extraordinary. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. Here's Mark Sears with a quick soundbite after the game.
Like when they're just going down like that.
Honest, like Coach said, we've been working all week to prepare for to get our shot right, and just the matter of preparation we put in, it led to the success we had tonight.
We're going to come to the front row in the middle.
Mark, or for any of the guys, but we'll start with Mark since you had the biggest night. When Coach says, hey, regression to the mean, hey, they're playing you, how much do you believe it? How much do you expect it, I guess, is the better word?
Yeah, even though when I was shooting 14%, my confidence was still high. I never stopped doubting myself and stopped believing in myself. And my teammates also, they kept encouraging me to keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. And that's just showed trust in them that even though when I'm not at my highest peak, they still trust and want me to shoot the ball. So, it's a big shout out to them. And, just they went under the ball screen and I was able to get my rhythm early.
I felt when watching the two teams last night, when they started out, BYU, I think, went on a 7-0 run. I was like, my goodness, these are two similar style teams. I think Coach Oates said before the two teams played that BYU had the number one offense in the country from February 1st to this point in time. So when they were going back and forth, I was like, holy cow, like this is going to be an epic showdown. The thing is the last two teams that Alabama has faced, right, St. Mary's, BYU, they haven't had a strong outside game. And last night, BYU had a lot of contested shots, but their shots just weren't falling, plain and simple. I think Alabama had a lot of open shots coming off screens or making good passes, but they were just literally filling it. Like they would be a miss. They would be a rebound, kick out, and money. Like Mark Sears, what he did last night was crazy, crazy, crazy. Come back to Nate Oats. The success that he's had here. If you're an older Alabama fan and you've seen, coaches come, coaches go, And what Nate Oats is doing is absolutely special. Here's what he said about Alabama advancing. I love this soundbite right here.
And before you took over, Alabama had been to one Sweet 16 in 30 years. Now it's 4-5, and you're playing for the second straight Final Four on Saturday. How do you reflect on just how far the program has come in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I got the job, we didn't have the transfer portal eligible immediately, the NIL. So it was a little harder to turn it around immediately like you can now. So like we had Quinterly, who, by the way, we're in his backyard, which is great. He showed up to practice and has been hanging out with our guys, but he couldn't play. We got him to transfer. He had to sit that year. That was like the last guy who the NCAA wouldn't let play. So, you can't flip your roster like you can now. So we got saved by COVID that year. So we can say that we made the NCAA tournament every time since I've been at Alabama, because I don't think we were making it that year. I've been fortunate to have some really good recruiters on staff to get us some very good players. We were fortunate to walk into some good players. John Petty, all-time leading three-point shooter, was already there. Avery left us some pretty good talent. Herb Jones, who's been a pretty good NBA player. So those guys, Alex Reese was here. Alex hit the big three in our second year to send it to overtime in the Sweet 16. So, we kind of turned it in year two, made the Sweet 16 run. And then the recruiting, Brian Hodgson, Antoine Petway. Now I got Preston Murphy. I've had some of the best recruiters in the country get some really good talent to play the way we want to play. And, I love playing this way. I think players want to play this way. I mean, it was fun. Like BYU plays an NBA system. We had some better talent than them tonight, but, it's a lot more fun way to play basketball, if you will. And, it's when you play this way and you show everybody, even our first year we played this way, we just didn't have as much talent to do it. And now we've been able to get the talent, and hopefully we continue to get the talent. We keep the resources where we need to and just keep making these runs. I think the Alabama fans like us making deep runs in the NCAA tournament. At least I do.
We're going to go to a soundbite from Kevin Young, BYU's basketball coach, next. But just to kind of catapult off what Coach Oates said, like, think about the standard of Alabama basketball and what that means to you at this point in time, right? Like, we're past a Sweet 16. Now as fans, I think we're like Elite 8. And, depending on the matchup with Duke, I mean, can you imagine if Alabama is able to spin out 2 Final Four runs? Now, the challenge with Duke is going to be the challenge with, the biggest challenge that they've had all season long. Duke presents a lot of different challenges, and we'll preview that game more on Saturday morning before the tip-off. But I think, what they've been able to do under Coach Oates following Avery Johnson has been nothing short of extraordinary. And every single time they take advances, not only does Nate Oates' resume look better, but I think you have to give credit to Greg Byrne and the job that he did, because nobody saw to be able to have kind of the far-out vision to see a coach that was rising at Buffalo, to bring him over here. Not a lot of people knew who he was, and he's put Alabama to rocket ship. I have no idea, and I say this all the time when we're talking about this, how long Nate Oates is going to be here. If he has aspirations to go to the NBA, I'm sure that he'll be blown up, in the future. I think Texas reached out to him, and he quickly turned that down. Look, pay this man a lifetime contract, as I said earlier. Make sure that he stays here because he's able to work the transfer portal. He's able to recruit at a high level, and then X's and O's. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody's doing it better right now. Nate Oates playing at a very high level, or coaching at a high level. Here's Kevin Young following the game. Quick soundbite. He's a head basketball coach at BYU.
Credit goes to Nate Oates, their staff, and their players. Historic shooting performance that was, hard to overcome for us. We felt like we made a little dent and started going the other way, and then they just kept it going. So. I'm not the type of person that just shoots to they shot it unbelievable, nothing we could do. Disappointed in myself and our staff that we couldn't put our players in a better position to find answers, and but they made the plays and we didn't. So kudos goes to those guys. Now in terms of our group, just extremely proud of our guys. I just told them in the locker room. Which is something we hadn't talked about literally all year until just now. I mean, this is a team that was picked 9th in the Big 12.
Coach Bobby Gorin.
Wow, that was an interesting soundbite right there. Pick ninth in the Big 12, and you look at what they've been able to do. Props to what he's been able to do at BYU. This is Duke's basketball coach. A quick soundbite. He was asked yesterday about the thoughts about playing Alabama. It was right after the game. Think about that from a coach's perspective. Okay, wow. We know we play Alabama, tall task, but he hasn't even had a chance to really process their victory over Arizona, which was a highly contested game. So a quick soundbite.
Sears Sports, how do you prepare for a team that just scored 113 points and broke the record for three-point shots?
Well, look, I'm not even going to get into that. I haven't watched. I haven't seen. I see they scored 113 points. It's a heck of a performance. We know it's going to be a big-time challenge on Saturday, but we'll be preparing all night, and obviously I could give you a more informed answer on that tomorrow.
All right, let me ask you this before we move on. Just kind of go back to this screen. You have Alabama taking on Duke. I'll move to football next, talking about the scrimmage from Thursday in just a minute. But right now, inside the comment box, how are you feeling about this game in terms of a confidence level? Do you think that Alabama can beat Duke basketball? So on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, what's your confidence level in terms of Alabama beating Duke? So for me, look. It's hard not to have high confidence after what we watched last night. Like, that was one for the absolute ages. Duke is, it's a tall task, 34-3 on the season. But I love where they're at. Like, this is the type of game that you want to play in. And we talk about, if Youngblood stays hot and Sears, we know what he's capable of. Holloway off the bench, even Phylon, that backcourt is fine. You get big play from Amori, Grant Nelson. See, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I think, because Grant Nelson's been a little bit quiet in the tournament, he has big game mentality. So I think when we're looking at, your top duo for this next game, you're taking Sears and you're 100% taking Grant Nelson. Now, the one thing that Alabama does have to his advantage, and I've been talking about it since the tournament started, is the fact that they have experience, right? Sears, graduate. You have Youngblood, graduate. You have Amori, graduate. You have Nelson, graduate. These guys have played in big-time games, right? Throughout their whole course of time, whether they've been a transfer or not, like, those guys have played in big game mentality. So I'm feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, let's go with like a 6.5, 6.5. It's going to be a very tough, matchup. Hey, Benjamin, I appreciate you becoming a subscriber. Okay, Alabama held its first scrimmage of the spring season yesterday. Now, I start with talking about the quarterbacks, and yesterday provided a big update on Ty Simpson. And it's interesting, covering Alabama football, because the quarterback that always gets the most notoriety is always the backup, right? Especially when you have a 5-star come in. And I said this yesterday. I was like, look, just because Ty had a fantastic showing on their first scrimmage, like, don't get upset about that. And people are like, why would we get upset about it? People get upset. They're like, oh, man, that means someone else is going to transfer. No, it doesn't. It means that Ty Simpson, who is capable to run the offense, it means that he is taking steps forward with Ryan Grubb. The other quarterbacks are doing the same thing, but yesterday was Ty's time to shine. And I love this. He was hooking up with Isaiah Horton. I've heard 3 touchdown passes to Isaiah Horton. I've heard 2. Whatever the case is, it's good to have that camaraderie right now with the transfer that just came in. Alabama needs another wide receiver to open up Ryan Williams. Think about Ryan Williams in the slot position. I mean, that sounds just absolutely deadly with Ryan Grubb. So Ty Simpson has himself a day. It was interesting listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer after the scrimmage, because a lot of this stuff is tight. It's all locked in, right? But he doesn't mention any of the quarterbacks' names. Didn't mention that Ty had a big game. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer following the scrimmage. I just found that interesting. Like, I would think, like, if he did ball out, like, Ty had a great game. He's doing what we want. Maybe he did between the lines. Help me out on this. But here's Coach Kalen DeBoer, video courtesy of the University of Alabama, following Alabama's scrimmage on Thursday, talking about the quarterback play overall.
Yeah, I thought today, as far as just accuracy, there was maybe 2 balls. One was really short pass that you really want to see completed, and then one that was an opportunity for an explosive play that we missed. Otherwise, I thought I just probably guessed that we were somewhere in the where you want to be percentage wise. I don't know, 60, 65%, between the three of them. And so all of them getting their opportunities to lead with with the different groups, ones, twos in particular. So I thought they handled the checks and the things as far as managing the game. That's a lot of it. And then, going out there and making plays. So I feel like they were more comfortable today. And I think a lot of it is you put in a specific set of calls that they feel good with, so you can have a successful scrimmage. And I think the offensive staff did that for them.
He has one more soundbite talking about the quarterbacks. I like what he said. The accuracy is there. That is important. And one thing that Coach Kalen DeBoer has mentioned a few times, and he'll mention this here on the back end because he's asked about kind of the A-Day format, is he's saying that everything is controlled right now. And what that means is they have, Alabama, just like a lot of different teams, they're battling a lot of injuries right now. So you're not going to have your true ones on each side of the ball. So they're trying to get a lot of different people opportunities. And he says, in fact, that's why they're not having a real spring game. He's like, I think a lot of people think it's because of the portal. But he's like, it's because we don't have a full roster. The portal's coming, right? April 15th. And we all know if a player's not happy, they're going to bounce in the portal. But I just found that interesting. So, but with his comments regarding the quarterbacks and even this next comment coming up, I think he's still making these quarterbacks work for that spot. I would just be curious to see from his perspective. He doesn't say it right now, but if a quarterback has really taken command of that offense, it sounded like from the people that we talked to, and I'm sure you saw it as well out there, that Ty Simpson took that major step forward that we want to see. Again, it's March 28th. I'm happy about it. I love to see it because not a lot of people have been talking about Ty, and he's played in 15 games. He has a live arm, former 5-star. He's an athlete. It's good to hear good things about him. Honestly, here's Coach Kalen DeBoer as he continues.
I think it's pretty consistent from where it was from the beginning. So, they all bring something a little bit different to the table, even though it's not like maybe, a runner, and then a passer. It's guys doing their thing and what their strengths are, catchable balls and things like that they do really well. Making maybe field throws. One guy does that a little bit more. One does a little better job of scrambling. So I think they're all learning from each other, though, and taking something from each other's game and applying it to theirs and seeing that, there's always a way to make this play happen or that play happen. I thought they did a good job keeping their eyes downfield and hit some explosives and kept the chains moving on some 3rd and 4th downs that were critical. And that shows, good composure.
Before we move into this next soundbite, Coach Kalen DeBoer, I feel there's a lot of coach speak, and he doesn't call out specific players. I feel that the transfer portal is kind of part of that. Look, specifically when you have 3 quarterbacks, you're not going to name your number 1 quarterback right now. He probably wants to see more from the quarterbacks next week when they hold another scrimmage. Can you continue to be consistent in your performance? That's something that we often talk about. But I just thought from hearing the great things that we heard about Ty Simpson, wasn't necessarily pointed out. What's your take on that? Maybe it's nothing, and maybe he wants to see more. It's one practice, right? It's one practice, but good update anyways. Coach Kalen DeBoer also asked about the new format of A-Day. So A-Day, from our understanding, is going to be an hour-and-a-half practice on April 12th, and then most of it will be for Yay Alabama members after an opportunity for fans to pop down on the field and get autographs. What do you think about the A-Day format? And are you coming to A-Day? Are you still interested to come to watch the team practice for a little bit? I think that you can, it's not going to be a full practice. It's not going to be a full game. There's no beans and weenies. Remember when they used to play for steaks, right? Like the winning team got steaks and the losing team got beanie weenies. I miss that. That was like something that I always looked forward to, and it was a game. It was on ESPN. This is now practice. Now, Coach Kalen DeBoer says it's not because of the transfer portal. He's the coach of the team, but I miss that. Do you miss watching an actual game? Are you cool with the practice? Are you coming to Tuscaloosa? Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about A-Day.
Elaborate on the A-Day announcement from yesterday, the decision to scrimmage at Air before, and then what people might expect to see on that Saturday.
Yeah, we'll have just more of a practice, full practice like we would have any day, and just again allows us, kind of what I referred to earlier, be able to have a controlled setting, just the reps that certain guys get. So we'll we understand the significance, and we love, everyone loves football here. And so we want to give that day and make it available and, show off our guys, and our guys go do their thing. I can't even say it's really, to me, not about the portal concern that I know everyone makes it out to be. It's just that, we're really careful out there. We ran a lot of reps, but we were very specific. And sometimes, you almost had to stop things to get the right groups of people, matchups and things like that, to have a quality rep for all 22 guys that are on the football field. And, that practice type environment is something that I think best accomplishes both the things for the fans that we want to do with the A-Day, and also, for our football team to utilize a practice 15 and continue to get better. I think it's really important for our guys to get in front of fans. I remember a year ago when we came out, some of these, this year we got 18 new freshmen, and then we also have some transfers that are here, and this is their first time in Bryant-Denny with people. So I think that's a huge benefit for us. I remember seeing some guys a little bit like, wow, eyes wide open. And so that's a huge benefit for us, because really throughout the fall camp, we won't experience that to the extent like we will here in a couple weeks. So, and then also just some time from a fan appreciation standpoint, where the people can get up close to our guys, see hopefully their role models up close, get a signature or picture and things like that.
All right, that's Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about A-Day. I'm curious to see if you're going to come down to Tuscaloosa. The date is April 12th. We'll continue to talk more about that. Alabama will hold another scrimmage next week as we continue to move forward with spring football practice. But the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team getting ready to take on Duke, where ESPN Analytics has Duke winning this game at 72%. I wouldn't buy into that. They're 5-point favorites. I love it. Give Alabama the chance to be an underdog with the way that they shot. Hey, fam, I appreciate you guys being here on Friday morning. Thanks for rocking with me always inside the comment box. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. As news happens, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love talking basketball, too. I can't lie. This team has absolutely been rolling. Love to see it. Have a beautiful day. Stay where your feet are at. Be good people. I will catch you on the next video right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Be blessed. Enjoy your Friday. Talk soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam.